up, guys? Welcome back to the GSL Code S. Tazos and Artos is here as we go into the double mirror matchup day again.
Yes, indeed, but it's not two TVTs. It's right. A PvP and a ZVZ Tasteless, and that tells us that we will have either a Zerg or Protoss in that finals facing a Terran player.
That's right.
Of course, yesterday we had some pretty sick matches. Maru and
Yesterday's
Gumiho
games were great.
Winning out, yeah. And, I mean, I think that today's matches will be very good, but...
There's a chance it might be very short today.
Yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Not just the matchups, but the players that are playing as well.
Well, Sue's pretty tall, but yeah.
Oh, you. Thank you for joining us here tonight as we wrap up the round of 8, and we're getting pretty close to the finals, man.
Yeah. We are getting there very, very quickly. The 24th will be the finals. And, well, I guess, you know, it's a bit of time off, but not that many matches are left.
So we're going to start tonight off with Stats versus Classic, and then it will be Rogue versus Sue.
Yeah, and both these matches are, like, really, really sick.
I think we'll probably go to 5 games in each of these series.
I think Stats versus Classic, I'm looking at a 3-1. But I don't know who's going to perform that 3-1.
Yeah.
Which I know that sounds a little bit weird, but the PvP meta is changing a lot, so I think one of these guys is just going to have a better handle on it, and that's what's going to prove to be a victory.
I think that's fair.
The ZVZ, though, I find to be super interesting because Sue, there was just like a thread out where this guy has 5 accounts in the top 16 of Korean GM.
I did not catch that.
Rogue is ranked 1, and he has been for over a week.
Crazy.
조가 굉장히 어려워가지고 이번에도 저번 시즌처럼 떨어질 수 있겠다 생각을 했는데 우리 저번에 떨어져봐서 그런지 이번에는 안 떨어지려고 진짜 연습을 열심히 했던 게 오늘 이렇게 올라갈 수 있었던 원동력이었던 것 같습니다.
힘들고 지치는 이런 경기를 했어가지고 8강의 무대에 이렇게 서는 게 원래 이렇게 힘든 것이었나 이렇게 생각이 들 정도로 너무너무 힘든 승부를 해서 오늘 하루 너무 힘들었던 것 같아요. 이영호 공격력 별로 안 센 것 같아요. 이영호 공격력 한 B급 토스. 말 그대로 공격력은 별로 약한 것 같아요. 저보다 약한 것 같아요.
너 B급 토스라고 하더라?
솔직히 대엽이가 공격력은 별로 센 것 같지 않거든요. 그래도 우승자니까 한 B 정도 드리겠습니다.
수비하면서 이렇게 막 견제하는 플레이를 또 잘하더라고요. 확실히 이 형이 그런 건 잘해요. 그런 견제까지 합쳐서 점수 쳤을 때 S급. 인정할 것도 인정해줘야죠.
인정하기 싫어도 수비력만큼은 인정해야 될 것 같아서 수비력에선 S를 주고 싶네요.
이 형 굉장히 전략적이에요. 이런 걸 왜 하나 싶을 정도로 이상한 걸 좀 많이 하는데 그래서 전략성도 저는 S 주겠습니다.
솔직히 뭐 대엽이가 그렇게 전략적이지는 않은 것 같아서 전략성에서는 뭐 저한테 비교가 안 되죠. D급 토스? 전략을 별로 본 적이 없는 것 같아서 D도 솔직히 많이 쳐준 것 같습니다.
이 형 피지컬 좋나? 맞죠. 32강 때는 사실 그때 이렇게 인터뷰를 하는 거였으면은 그 형 피지컬 C 줬을 건데 그때 제가 또 하면서 졌잖아요. 그때 좀 잘하더라고요. 그래서 A 주겠습니다.
뭐 피지컬은 그냥 뭐 실수 없이 잘하는 것 같아가지고 피지컬 같은 경우에는 뭐 A 정도인 것 같습니다.
그 형 멘탈 안 좋을걸요 아마? 그래서 한 C? 그 형 멘탈 C? 참 나이도 멘탈도 정말 가진 게 없네요.
멘탈은 뭐 S급인 것 같은데 저한테 지고 나서 굉장히 멘붕이 되지 않을까 싶어서 지금은 S지만 저랑 경기한 이후에는 F 드리겠습니다.
고 형이 또 게임을 또 굉장히 또 재밌게 하기 때문에 스타성 A 주겠습니다. 뭐 비슷한 것 같아요. 저도 한 B급이기 때문에 비슷한 것 같아요. 예.
대엽이가 인기는 많지 않은 것 같거든요. 우승만 했지 뭐 스타성은 딱히 없는 것 같아서 한 C급 정도?
그런 꾸미려는 건 좋은데 너무 꾸미더라고요. 네, 너무 과한 것 같고 뭐 그래도 뭐 그만큼 노력을 했으니까 네, A 드리겠습니다.
아니, 걔는 그냥 스타일을 따질 만한 그게 아니어가지고 진짜 패션에 F도 그래서 F토스인가? 패션을 아예 모르는 것 같아서 뭐 이 부분에 대해서는 딱히 말할 게 없네요. 그냥
줄 가치도 없다.
네, 가치가 없는 거예요. 대엽이는 그 스플라이스 옷이 유니폼이 제일 옷 잘 입은 것 같아요, 개인적으로. 대엽아, 나를 떨어뜨리려고 아주 그냥 작정을 한 것 같은데 이렇게 올라왔으니 또 내가 널 이기고 4강을 갈게.
오 형도 1등으로 올라올 줄 몰랐는데 그래도 이렇게 만났으니까 즐겜하고 또 32강 때 저 이겼으니까 굉장히 좀 8강전 자신만만해서 이렇게 경기장 오셨을 것 같은데 제가 오늘 제대로 복수 한번 해드리겠습니다.
이번에도 기분 좋게 대엽이를 이기고 우승하도록 하겠습니다.
All right, we're almost ready to get this game going. Stats versus Classic. I don't actually know who wins this, but
yeah, it's a hard one.
I almost forgot we were going to do this interview too. We'll get this interview translated for you guys, then we'll get this game underway.
출신의 이 선수들이 만났는데요. 김대엽
Here he says
선수와
two GSL
김도우
champions.
선수 함께 이야기 나눠보겠습니다.
Let's meet them now. Hello, Stats.
안녕하세요.
Hello, Classic.
네, 와 영상에서부터 벌써 도발이 굉장했습니다. 벌써 경기 시작한
So from that video,
먼저 김대엽 선수
We
오늘
could
준비
see
잘하셨어요?
what they thought of each other.
네, 준비는 확실히
Have you
많이
prepared
하고
well,
나왔어요.
Stats?
네, 30강
Yes.
복수야죠.
네, 그래야죠.
그렇죠.
I
김대엽
prepared a
선수는
lot.
준비 잘 되셨어요?
네, 뭐 저도
And I'll be
준비는
getting
많이
revenge.
했고 오늘 좀 기운이 좋은 것
Classic
같아가지고
says, yes, I prepared really hard.
이겼으면
I'm actually feeling pretty good
네.
today.
조지명식에서 서운한
And he says he hopes to win
감정이
tonight.
있으셨을 것 같았는데 이렇게 8강에서 바로 만났습니다. 김대엽 선수 8강 상대로 적절한 것 같아요?
네, 대엽이가 딱 8강에서 이렇게 꺾고
So,
올라가기에 되게
You must have some opinions on
네.
stats since you met him in the round of 8.
이제 1년에 한 번씩은 다전제에서
Or,
만났는데
sorry, from the group
네.
domination. He says, yes, I think stats is a perfect opponent for me to meet in the round of 8.
오랜만에 4강 한번 가도록 하겠습니다.
Whenever I meet him in a best of 5, I beat
자,
him.
이렇게
So
다전제에서
tonight's
다
gonna happen
이겼던
again.
상대인데 그런데 이 사전에 저희가 점수를 줬잖아요. 굉장히 냉정하신 평가인 것 같더라고요.
네.
네, 그 평가에 대해서
Seems like you didn't give him great grades back there.
네, 뭐 그냥
B급토스라고.
네, 그냥 제가
You said he's a
느낀
second-class Protoss. Tell us about that.
네.
네.
Yeah, that's just how I feel.
멘탈이 씨던데.
아, 도호 형이요?
네.
네, 도호 형이 멘탈
But you gave his mentality a C.
약하신 것 같아서
네.
오늘
Yeah, I think his mentality is not that strong.
계셨었으면 좋겠네요.
And hopefully his mental state
받아보시고 나서
is going to be
어떠셨어요?
okay after I wreck him tonight.
어떤 걸요?
네, 그 점수 평가.
What do you have to say about his grades that he gave you?
그냥 뭐 그냥 생각했던 것처럼 뭐 그래도 수비력은 인정해 주길래 오늘 약간 둘 다 수비적인
Just as I
스타일인데
expected.
되게 그래서 좀 재밌는 경기가 많이 나오지 않을까.
But he gave me a good grade on my defense, so
확실히 수비에서만큼은 두 분 모두 서로에게 S라고 인정을
Since
했었습니다.
it's apparently you're both strong in defense, it should be
눈에
entertaining
띄는 게
tonight.
김도우 선수는 김대엽 선수에게 전략이란 게 없다. 딜을 준 모습이 눈에 띄었어요. 전략이 없나요?
You said
우승자인데?
stats isn't very good strategically.
글쎄요,
But he's a
딱히
champion.
전략적인 모습을
How can you say
제가
that?
보는 게 많이 없어가지고
어,
대엽이도 약간 수비력 빼고는
네.
딱히 없는 것 같아서 그 수비 잘하는
Well, I don't
것만
think
이제
when I see his
빼버리면
stats, excuse me, I don't think that
될것
they're that
같습니다.
great.
네, 어서운하지 않으세요? 전 좀
I think the only thing he has the
충격이었어요.
right to brag about is a solid defense.
아, 네, 뭐 제가 생각해도 그런 거
I was also shocked
그래요?
네.
after I saw that you
받아들이시는 것
rated your strats
같은데.
low.
자, 이렇게
He says, yeah, I
친한
pretty much agree with you,
사이 때문에
Fury.
또 이런 도발이 나오는 것 같습니다. 오늘 결코 물러설 수 없는 대결이죠. 8강 대결을 앞두고 있는 만큼
Well,
강력한
there's no turning back
한마디씩
now.
나누고 시작을 하겠습니다.
So before we
먼저
start the
김도우
series,
선수,
is there anything you'd like to say to
김대엽
each other?
뭐 사실 근데 이렇게 말해도 대혁이가
Honestly?
되게 잘해서 오늘 연습을 많이 했지만 되게 지금도 긴장하고
Look, he's a good
있고
Protoss player.
그래도
I know we
연습을
practice
진짜
a lot.
많이 해왔으니까 오늘
So,
꼭 좋은 경기력으로
I won't lie, I'm a
나아갈
little
수
bit
있도록
nervous.
하겠습니다.
네.
But I train hard, so
한마디.
hopefully I can pull through
사실
today.
좀 오늘
And what do you have to say,
좀
Stats?
피곤해가지고
네.
네. 누가 이기든 그냥 3대
I feel a
0을
little
빨리
tired
끝내고 집에 가서
Hopefully,
좀 네, 쉬고 싶네요.
he says, I hope to finish this series quickly with a 3-0 so I can get back home, take a
자, 이렇게
rest.
두 선수의 이야기 들어봤습니다. GSL 우승자 출신 간의
That does it for our interview.
자존심 건 대결 8강 3경기
Artie McTosis.
Yeah. What up?
Can I tell you, it was hard for me to do that back there while still looking into your doe eyes.
It's a tough one to do.
It's not
indeed.
easy, man. So this is the last day of the round of 8.
Yeah.
I believe our next cast is actually almost
Next
a week from now. It's
Wednesday.
It's the
6 days away.
Yeah, 6 days away. So mark that in your calendar.
And that'll be, of course, the TBT between Maru and Gumiho.
That's right.
And then next Saturday, not this Saturday, but next Saturday, we'll see the PVZ, whatever that may be. Now, what are you thinking about with this series?
I think it's going to go to Game 5.
Okay.
I think we should have a lot of very short games. I think Classic's one of these Protosses that knows how to end it pretty quickly.
Yeah.
He likes to have these pretty good, I don't even mean cheeses, but just like a good build order win.
Yeah.
Or something that gets in there. You know, PvP's a funny matchup because it's one that there are so many different builds you can do, and a lot of them you can end up in the same spot if it doesn't end right away. But it's tough to predict.
Yeah, I think it is very tough to predict, and I don't even know who I favor here. If we were not on this patch, I would say 100% Classic. He had a perfect understanding of how to get into Sky Toss quicker than everyone else while remaining safe. He was dominating in PvP for like a week there, or maybe 2. But the new patch that we had come out actually changed PvP more than any other matchup, really, right? The Void Ray change, the Tempest change, yeah. And the Charge change. All these things are actually really big deals for PvP. And the metagame is not settled around what is the best way to play PvP right now. There's we have a ton of strategies, but it's not like you just go into Sky Toss. So I think that one of these guys will simply have a better understanding of the way PvP should be played right now, and I'm expecting a 3-1 for that player, but I have no idea which player that'll be. Like, I don't think these guys are going to be in the exact same place strategically for PvP right now. I think that's hard to believe.
I feel like this series is going to be one that's not just for our viewers, but even for you and me, a little bit more educational.
Yeah.
Like, we're going to really get the idea of how the two of the best Protoss players of all time are viewing the current Protoss vs. Protoss metagame post-patch.
Yeah. I'm not sure the way they'll go. I think the Sky Toss is still somewhat valid. I don't know if we'll actually see it, but I don't know. I've liked some of the new styles that have been popping out, like Zest, for instance. He's by far the best Protoss on ladder right now, and I've been watching a lot of him streaming, and he's killing it with some blank into charge builds with a lot of bases. So maybe we'll see some of that, or maybe we'll see good old Adepts. You never know.
We are going to find out soon. Map number 1 is Odyssey. This is a best of 5, and the winner will go on to the Final 4. On the other side of the bracket on the Final 4, it's our 2 Terran players. So no matter what, between these guys, we get 1 Protoss, and then after this series, we got another best of 5, so we're going to get 1 Zerg. Perfectly balanced game. We just need to have a 4th race. We could have put it in there.
Heaven shall burn. In a cloud of fire we stand. Fight. We start war. Are you ready to fight? Yeah!
Every time that ticker comes up with how many matches we've done, I'm like, my God, I've been doing this for a long time. That is crazy.
Splice. Gold. Stats.
Gold. Borders.
Going to be in...
you see how much love
of that
everybody at the GSL that works here, they put into this show? The champions get a gold banner. You know how hard it is to change the color on the banner? It's really hard, if you guys didn't know that. In the upper left.
Classic.
Tasteless.
Gold.
Tasteless would know, too, as he is a Photoshop pro. No question. And look at that, the grading of that gold, too.
Yeah.
That's crazy hard to do.
You guys,
it just has dots in it. Like, I don't even know how you do dots.
It's crazy, man. You just wait until we get Suze up here, and it's going to be silver.
Yeah.
Oh, wow, wow, wow.
Oh, poor
Well, thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It has been a great night. Tipper Waitress says, he gets second place a lot.
Oh, my God. Classic just went Nexus first on a 2-player map. So that's interesting. Okay, so like we saw, who was it that went Nexus first? I think it was actually Stats, and maybe it was Classic against him on Whirlwind, I want to say the map is. Anyways, he got completely dismantled, just like Adept shading in, and an Oracle comes down, and everything falls apart. It's really hard to go Nexus first, but it looks like Classic is setting up a wall at the top of his ramp.
Two very different builds coming out here.
But will Stats be able to pull the trigger and get extremely aggressive against this and execute it correctly to get the damage done?
We will have to see. Two Adepts now on the way here. Both players have scouted each other, so they're at least aware of what the build orders are. In some cases, people scout a little bit later because they want to get the extra minerals. But from here, it's a matter of like how well have you reacted. If you practice this build, which we know these guys both obviously did, then how exactly were your practice partners playing when you tested it? Because sometimes, especially in PvP, there's so many matchups, you might end up with one build versus another where you're like, oh, I feel a little bit more in the dark on this one.
Yeah. Look at this pylon. Okay, so this is... I'm trying to figure out about this pylon. Like, it could just be for overcharge. It's not a pylon to make sure that his Adepts can get in. There's still, he can easily wall that still. In fact, you see that little probe dance because he has to be able to wall against these Adepts. If the Adepts get in, that's where the game starts to fall apart here for Classic.
Okay, probes are being pulled now. Hardly anything mining. He wants to get rid of this. It's funny how this works. Okay, the Adepts are coming up now. Stalkers targeting down the pylons here. Okay, so he triggers the first pylon cannon. The Adepts now back out. Keep in mind, he's kind of locked out from his expansion right now.
Yeah.
I do like that one probe there to block the Nexus from being made.
He's killing all of the offensive pylons. So he's killed 3 pylons now and not lost really anything. And now, actually, he's blocked the expansion here of Stats. So,
okay, so this
Stats is kind of almost half-assed aggression here. I guess he was correct to give him a B on that aggression because he's gotten absolutely nothing done against this. This was a very tight build from Classic.
Yeah, this is going to be very, very problematic here for Stats to move on in this game.
Yeah.
Now, he still has Adepts up here. He might still be able to do a decent amount of damage. He can still shade in there, or not if the pylon blocks that out. But, yeah, I mean, basically, Stats is playing from behind right now, and that's very frustrating for him. There is an Oracle coming up here. However, with Stalkers being the primary unit that's being made here for Classic, I just feel like he should be fine, right?
Yeah, totally. Like, Classic has a ton of units. He's up by 6 probes at the moment. So as long as he's not taking damage from these Adepts and the Oracles, this is a pretty substantial lead. He's got so many units out that he's just going to have control as soon as everything gets a little bit tighter.
It's funny how this works. You can actually force him to keep making something and canceling it just with these Adepts coming in like this. Normally, you'd see the other player use an Adept shade to block the other shade.
Yeah, that's true.
Since the shades can't directly be on top of each other. But in this case, he's going for that Stalker tech, so he just has to keep the probe there. And immediately deflecting that Oracle. Fortunately for him, he did not lose it, so he can still try to tag the army or maybe come in later on if the Stalkers try to leave.
Yeah, definitely still going to be a useful unit, but oh my god, he actually goes ahead and sacrifices these Adepts, shading them right in. Should end up losing all of them.
Yeah, I don't think there's any way for that Adept to really get out here. You can see the Oracle, he thought about coming in with that too. Now keep in mind, because there's more economic momentum here for Classic, even losing those few Adepts is pretty bad.
Yeah, he got 4 probes off of that, but he sacrificed the 3 Adepts, and so he's still down by a good 5-6 workers this entire time. He's down in army. He's got good tech. We can't fault him there, right? He's got a Stargate and a Robo. He's going into everything else that he wants, but Classic is going to be able to play however he wants from here. He's going into blank. There's no attack that's on the horizon for him, and it looks like he'll take a quick 3rd base, so this is a good place to be in, I think, as Classic.
Yeah, I think as long as Classic doesn't make any kind of real big blunders, he should basically be fine. And of course, this all really just goes back to the start of this game. He just picked a build, and the response here from Stats, it almost seems like Stats kind of did that impulsively, that initial rush.
Yeah.
It didn't seem like
the 3 pylons that did nothing.
Yeah, it didn't seem like it was actually something that he had tested.
Yeah.
And he seemed to be playing a little bit more on instinct, and in that case, it seemed like his instinct didn't serve him very well.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, like, when he did the Nexus first, someone that he was playing against, I believe it was when these two actually played before, but anyways, there was a pylon used to block the blocking location of, where you would shade the adepts in. We didn't see him attempt that, but the wall-in was made in such a way that there was multiple blocking locations. So Classic really came in here prepared as far as this match goes. Now, taking a look at where the game's going, third base coming up by stats. Yes, he is down in probes. Yes, he is down in army, but you can't just go kill someone PvP too easily, especially once he has disruptors, which is exactly where stats is headed.
Yeah, PvP is kind of funny. After the second base is up for a while, it's kind of hard to actually kill the other guy. If you both have two bases and then the third base as well, it's kind of hard to just get in there and actually do the killing blow. Yeah. You end up getting a lot of these units that basically punish the other player if he gets too aggressive, and the Disruptor, I think, is the key unit for that.
It is. Disruptor can destroy any incoming attack. It's such a strong defensive unit in this matchup. But of course, you get things like force fields, overcharges, just immortals in general are going to be able to hold on against a lot.
Can you imagine this game if there was no immortal? Like that unit.
That would be weird.
That unit is such a game changer for Protoss overall.
Yeah, if there. I mean, if Terrans and Zergs had their way, I'm sure there wouldn't be an immortal, but that would be bad.
Yeah.
Okay, so look at this. This is where I like a lot where Classic is going with this. He's going into charge and adding 2 Stargates because he has scouted Disruptor tech. So he can just kind of have a mostly gateway-based army with Phoenixes to pick up Disruptors.
And I think that's a smart approach. I mean, it's basically you're countering his tech over here.
Yeah.
Just as usual, we always have the hallucinated Phoenixes coming through here to try to spot. And we'll have to see. I mean, I don't really blame Stats for bringing the game in that direction. By the way, I don't think he's going to spot this.
Yeah, he doesn't see the
That's
2 Stargates yet. So he'll continue on those Disruptors, but they won't be too useful. I do like the fact that Stats is getting Glaives, though. If you're kind of playing in a defensive position, Adepts with Glaives are going to do pretty well against Charge Lots, to be honest. Charge Lots kind of need a lot of surface area, so...
Looks like this Observer's barely going to get out of there without getting spotted. Now, I like this. And this is Classic just steadily getting further and further ahead here. But this might force Stats to do something because if you don't get the gold base up around the same time your opponent does, the game is usually going in a direction where it's going to end very quickly.
Yeah, the amount of production that he'll be able to actually get off of that, especially considering the unit composition that Classic's going for. You get a gold base and you're going charge lots.
Yeah.
You have infinity charge lots. Like, you won't have enough disruptor shots to clear all those charge lots.
Stalker's coming up now. You got to keep in mind, though, the Classic is just getting confirmation that, in fact, the Nexus for his opponent is late. Looks like the Oracle, though, here from Classic, rather from Stats, excuse me, is going to drive that out. So buying a little bit of time before that gold base can be acquired here for Stats. That's actually pretty important.
Yeah, pretty well done with that Oracle, as long as it gets away here. Yeah. More Phoenixes look like they should be on the way. And, of course, a very quick Mothership Core. Definitely very, very valuable. Hard to actually kill that off in a battle that, like, ground anti-air won't clear the Mothership Core very easily.
Yeah, that's very true. It could be pretty beefy in that regard. I don't really see Stats winning this game. I feel like just from the way this game started out, the fact that he's been playing from some sort of a deficit this entire time.
Yeah, I like the tech choices from Classic as well. Just the fact that, he's getting this gold base, he has the charge upgrade, he's like, the Mothership is going to be, like, really, really crucial. As long as he lifts up the disruptor shots.
That's key.
When you have Phoenixes and a Mothership, the Observer dies really quickly. So you actually have to have an Oracle to tag this, because sniping the Mothership, it's very easy to micro the Mothership back and just keep it out of stalker range.
For sure,
so
for sure.
This is, I really do like where Classic's going with this.
Okay. War Prism taking some damage, but only losing shields there. Unfortunately, just seeing the War Prism there is going to make you more vigilant to that kind of counterattack. Sometimes we'll see players kind of float, not maxed out, but just with enough supply that the War Prism can come in, and if one player leaves, then you just warp in a ton of Zealots. And it's chaos.
It is certainly chaos.
Okay. I believe we are getting to the climax here, Artosis. We have Stats moving out. He's got 5 Disruptors, I believe.
Yeah, he has a lot of disruptors. Like, this is a really solid army. Even brought some High Templars here to feedback some of these Phoenixes, but so far so good, picking up 2 of the disruptors.
Okay, the disruptors are coming out here. But right now we have Classic just in pursuit for the time being. The disruptor shots have not been fired. He actually feedbacks some of those Phoenixes, but I think there's too many over here as it is.
Yeah, quite a few of those indeed, but this is a huge army coming out of Stats. Classic, well, where's his mothership right now? He's kind of just engaging without
He didn't need it. All right, he's like, wait a minute. This thing makes my army invisible. It's pretty good. All right, he's coming in here now. Uh-oh.
Well, and there has been a tag, so the mothership not going to be as useful, but still, this is a very strong army going forward right now. Stats has to back up.
Okay, he's coming forward now. If he can bust down this base, it's going to be very good. But like we've seen here, Classic's army is pretty thinned out. It does not have the complexity we saw before. Looks like he blinked forward there. Stats did an overextending. The Archons are finishing, but there's not enough to supplement that with the rest of the army. GG, Classic takes game 1.
All right, so very well done by Classic with that Nexus First. I don't think the Nexus First will be a standard for tonight at all. I think that's probably going to be the only time we see it out of the 5 games in both players, but I don't know. It was well done. It was like a very good SimCity from Classic. Yeah. He had every little piece of this worked out for the map, and Stats' response to it didn't seem that well practiced. He might not have expected to see this tonight and just kind of went by the seat of his pants, but it did not work out for him there.
We will see what build Classic elects to go for this time. He was basically ready for anything that Stats threw at him. And Classic also seemed to know exactly how to get to the proper unit comp in the end game. So from A to Z, he did a great job in that game.
He really did. I love it that he went for the blink into charge and then grabbed those Phoenixes to lift everything. But Stats had a good counter to that with the feedbacks. Just not quite working out for him in this first game.
Okay, map number 2 is going to be on Newkirk Precinct. Is a precinct a jail, by the way?
I don't think it's a jail.
What is the definition of a precinct?
A precinct.
Does anybody know?
I think a precinct is like a division of like a city, right? Because like, wouldn't you call like
a province?
Precinct? No, the province is bigger, but like a precinct would be like an area.
I'm pretty sure that's
serves,
a country or two.
Right? Here, I'll just look it up.
Look it up. We're going to find out what precinct is. Get ready as we go into game number 2. Yeah. All right, what does precinct mean? In the bottom left, in the blue, he is. It's gold again.
A district of a city or town is defined for police purposes. That's exactly what I said. I'm so smart. Oh my God. Oh, I'm so smart, Tasteless.
I just discovered Artosis is a genius.
Oh.
In the bottom right in the red. Is it going to be gold again? It is.
Classic.
This is where you figure out I just like read the dictionary all day. Wow. God, I'm just so good. You have anything else you want to know about Tasteless?
Well, hold on. Let's look at these Templars. That's definitely Zeratul on the left. And that's definitely Tasseldar on the right. Tasseldar, man. That was his real name in the campaign.
Zerataste,
the based Templar.
Yeah.
Well, this game we have them both going for double gate. So for the time being, mirrored builds.
Classic going for a wall with his. Just kind of a stylistic thing. Sometimes has a lot to do with the strategy if you just want to block versus adepts rather than have units to try to kill them.
Is there something up with this probe? Is he going to hide it? He's going to go in there? We're going to find out.
I'm not sure.
By the way, that's a probe and that's a snake in the upper left. I'm really good at checking what these images are. What's that game where someone has to draw something, you have to guess what it is?
Captcha? No, it's charades, right? Or no,
charades where you act something out.
Yeah, it's something else actually. What is it? Oh, that's really
Pictionary?
Sneaky. Yeah, that's one. Yeah, I've played that before.
Like, is it Trouble?
It's fun getting into trouble.
What are you kids doing? And they're like, we're getting into trouble. And then parents like shake their head like, oh, you.
Yeah. Look at this pro placement that Classic has. This is going to give him a free scout of tech.
Yeah, this is pretty big.
That's pretty awesome.
Stats is like, what's going on out here? Is there any other hidden probes? I guess not. But in fact, M. Night Shyamalan esports moment. The probe was in your main all along.
This is wild, man. Look at this. You kidding me? This is the perfect hiding spot. I'm putting a pylon there all day tomorrow.
Look at this guy, classic hide-and-go-seek world champion.
Look at this. Sees the Stargate. The amount of importance on seeing this Stargate right away is huge.
Oh, this is funny.
Oh, my God.
You know, I guess you can do that.
Yeah, of course.
I guess, yeah.
I didn't even think of that, but this map, you fly so quickly across.
Get that probe.
Oh, that probe got really screwed up.
All right, he's moving in now. Cancel it. And that was quite a moment there. Oh, I actually did not even see the Adepts, Artosis. There's Adepts on the left side of the screen.
Oh, my God.
I was looking at the pylon
I'm just quietly watching this. He actually targeted, like, a probe once, I think, so he didn't kill the mothership core. So this actually, well, he got 6 probes. So at the end of the day, this was great. You get 6 probes this early. Make as many pylons as you want to do that because it is worthwhile.
Yeah. So I guess if you're in a bad division on the ladder, you can also use that strategy in the GSL. Yeah. We got strats for everybody. By the way, Stats so far is having a bad day.
Yeah, it's not so good for him, right?
I wouldn't be surprised if by the time he leaves the studio, he sits down on a bench and guess what? Wet paint.
Wet paint on a bench? Oh! The old classic?
That's right.
Literally. The old classic.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. And then he's going to walk outside. There's going to be a rake, Tasteless. Why the hell would there be a rake in the center of Seoul?
Who left this rake here? What's it doing in the middle of Seoul? There's no leaves out here. It's a concrete jungle.
Why would you need that?
And boop on the nose.
Oh, man. He'll break his nose, and he'll have to get a surgery for it.
He's going to the doctor's office, but then, who put this banana peel on the ground? Woo! I'm all over the place.
This poor guy. And now he loses his Oracle, getting absolutely 0 done with it.
Yeah.
Like, the lead of Classic here is immense. Yeah, his Nexus is a bit slower, but he really doesn't care. He's killed enough probes. He has the first Phoenixes popping out. Look at this. He's going to get a Scout. He sees a Robo, and he's going to see Phoenixes still being made. And this tells him, like, everything on Earth. If he just keeps making Phoenixes, he'll always have more Phoenixes. And if you have more Phoenixes than your opponent wishes he had no Phoenixes, because less Phoenixes against more Phoenixes is worse than no Phoenixes against more Phoenixes.
That one's going on your tombstone, Artosis.
Dude, it's so true, too. It's like the worst thing in the world is having 1 Phoenix less than your opponent. Yeah. Oh, my God. It's just terrible.
And it's only getting worse, by the way. These Stalkers come in here killing off 5 probes. Oh, and it's getting worse. Look here. Phoenix is coming and taking out. This is a morality blow.
Dude, this is going to be a 3-0. Like, Classic is just so on top of his game right now. Look at this. Oh, my God. He almost just killed a Phoenix, too. Now he's just sitting here.
These things might get some more energy. Oh, my God. He even gets that Phoenix.
And he gets out with a Stalker? In what world do you get out with a Stalker there?
Okay,
what the
this
hell?
game is a disaster.
Oh, my God.
Do we have any more cliche bad luck things we can say at this point in time?
There's something about a rabbit's foot, a cursed rabbit's foot.
I've got one.
He's going to break a mirror.
Go by a black cat, walk under a ladder. I got another one.
What?
Miss the scouting probe in your base and then make pylons and then kill 6 probes. God. That's another one. Here we go. More Phoenix is coming in here right now.
Oof.
More one-sided than a Mobius strip, folks.
Stats lost his glass slipper from winning last season. Classic picked it up and squeezed it onto his foot.
It fits.
It fits. If the slipper fits, Tasteless, you can be the next GSL champion.
You gotta acquit. Oh, wait, no. Sorry, that was the OJ case.
If the slipper fits, you may as well quit.
Yeah, this is brutal. It's funny because it's like everything is going perfectly down to the point where, for instance, even these Stalkers are not quite in a good position to stop these Phoenixes from getting this. Look
He's like, I got 3 lifts, let me go ahead and use them.
The Phoenix energy is so low.
Yeah.
Because
he's macroing that Phoenix energy like crazy.
Yeah.
That's another resource for Classic. He needs to keep his Phoenix energy low. Can't be feedback in those. That's not going to be a good counter. You do like 2 damage to him.
No, my friend, it is not.
Oh, look at this.
What do you do when you're behind? You say, I hope invisible units can win the game.
Yeah.
Now, I mean,
I hope he doesn't see the D2s. Look at this. Now he's scouting for. He's like, at this point, Stats should be hiding a Dark Shrine. It's his only chance.
Look at this. Wait, did he actually not see it? Oh, but look at this.
You kidding
me?
My
God, he's everywhere.
Do you see this? Oh, my God.
Well,
good for you, Stats. Oh, he's making cannons, though.
Oh,
look at
classic.
This. Jeez.
That's classic.
Yeah, he's getting, like, charging Immortals. against Blink. And the thing is, you know your opponent kind of has to go Blink because you have all these Phoenixes. It's like, well, if you have Stargates, you kind of need the Blink upgrade. But Immortals in charge counter that so ridiculously hard. Classic is in the best shape ever, man.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's really showing that he's on another level in PvP.
He's got a 6-pack as far as this game goes.
He's got an 8-pack, Artosis. He's got a 12-pack. You don't even have that many ab muscles.
He's got tennis balls in his triceps right now.
Exactly. This guy does not skip leg day.
No.
No, I mean, seriously, Classic is so on top of it. I actually think this is going to be a 3-0, just seeing how this is working out.
It totally looks like it right now. Like, first game, I can, like, I think he played very well, and he had everything mapped out really well, but, like, between making a Nexus first work perfectly, ooh, that pylon
That's pretty sick.
Oh, man. It's a stats pylon there.
Ninja Vanish. No. Ninja Vanish. Okay, there we go. I thought I could have timed that out perfectly, but no. Well, that was something, but I don't know if that's going to be enough to actually get him back into this game.
Yeah, it's still going to be pretty tough. Like, he's rebuilt quite a bit of what he had, but just army composition-wise, this is very, very rough.
Okay, we have Classic now moving out. Classic with a pretty sophisticated army at this point in time. Again, with the Phoenixes coming in. He's probably going to morph those Templars into Archons and just, there he is. And now just push out. And this is really that key moment, I think, when the Archons are here, that it's very tough for a player who's behind to try to get ahead.
Yeah.
You kind of have finished up your tech.
He needs to buy time for disruptors, which he is teching to at the moment. So if he gets a good disruption shot or two, that can always shift the game around.
Now here comes that DT, but there are already cannons. Excuse me, I'm still a little bit hoarse today. There are already cannons ready, and that means that this DT really isn't going to do much of anything, Artosis.
No, not too much at all.
That was kind of a sad way he went.
Yeah. A little bit anticlimactic.
It's like not even like he had a death scene. It's like the program just like erased him.
Yeah.
You know?
Wasn't fancy like we see the deaths on Abyssal.
He didn't even make a sound. He died silently.
It was kind of weird. He died as he lived. Not really doing much anything.
Okay, the push is now coming out here. This is intended to crush the third base that's being produced here for Stats. If he can keep Stats on 2 bases while Classic continues to grow, then it's a pretty easy win.
Phoenix is still doing a little bit of harassment. I'm actually even surprised about that. I feel like you should be saving energy for this next battle. Just lift a couple key units and you should be able to just take this down. But that third base is not long for this world, as they say.
Okay, he's coming in here now. The Stalkers are up here to try to defend the third. The rest of the army's over at the Natural. Yeah, good force fielder. That was so he's going to take out that base up there in the upper.
You're so mean. Oh, good works. Good work there, Classic. Idiot.
No. Was I too hard? I just saw the force field. It's like, I just looked at the force field. I'm like, well, that was totally
sick.
not necessary. But
I like it. It's like when Lings surround your sentry, just put a force field down next to the sentry, and then the sentry dies. It's like, was that worth like the 2 clicks?
When you see one sentry just make a force field in the middle of their army, and there's only he only had enough energy for one, and I'm like, okay, well, you pushed it to the side.
Yeah.
Did it really do anything? I'm not sure.
No.
Okay, we're coming forward now. Stats trying to push Classic back while Stats is actually making his third base again. This time at that little nook, which we've already seen Classic acquire his third base at.
Yeah, even if. Like, I really like this spot for Classic because he is making more Phoenixes here, right? He can just kind of lift these disruptors.
Yeah.
Even if you are getting off good disruptor shots, though, the army is so much bigger and better on Classic's side. Like, he can eat 3 disruptor shots and still win this battle, possibly. I mean, if they are perfect shots and kill the Zealots, maybe not, but that's it.
The sheer number of Zealots, hold on. The disruptor connects. He needs to come in now with the Phoenixes, but, right now, Stats has the positioning pretty well set up where the Phoenixes risk getting targeted down by the Stalkers, in which case, if that happens, I think that Stats actually can hold this base.
I think he's about to go down. I love the positioning, though.
Oh, look at this.
He's really utilizing the structures and whatnot to make sure that the Zealots and Archons have a hard time actually attacking in. And this is where Adepts, like I was talking about before, can defensively do very well against Zealots. They can't really get good surface area, but he actually walks out a little bit. This is some great play from Stats trying to hold on here against a vastly superior army.
Okay, good job. Picks up that first disruptor. The other disruptor shot's not.
Ooh.
Oh, actually, I was going to say they were not connecting well, but it was coming out of my mouth. It was not the case. But the disruptor's being picked up here by the Phoenixes with reinforcements coming in here from behind. Stats is slowly getting surrounded by Classic's army.
Yeah, dude, Classic should be able to just finish him off from here, I would say. A very strong army indeed. He's cleared out most of the probes.
Right. That's going to be game, I believe, as the rest of the Immortals can clean up these Stalkers. And we'll be going into Game 3 right now, Classic, with a 2-0 lead. GG.
Yeah, the only mistake Classic used that game was his all army button. I've seen 3 observers in there, but yeah, that was ridiculously well planned. The probe scout, the offensive pylon, the adepts coming at the same time. Just a very superbly played game out of Classic. And in stats right now, like he's throughout this entire tournament, he's looked shaky, to be honest. He's had really tough games. Like he had a tough series against Scarlet. Classic wrecked him in that first group. Round of 16 then, let's not forget that was a tough one for him as well. Getting completely destroyed by, why is my brain failing me? The guy he picked first, he was a Protoss. Anyways, yeah, he got wrecked there too. You know, he's had a hard time. He barely made it this far, and now Classic is just dismantling him.
So far, Classic is just rolling stats. We are going to hop right into game number 3. I guess we're not going to commercial. I thought we normally do that if it's a 2-0 lead, but I guess not. I guess I don't know what's going on, but I'm not alone. Stats right now also can't figure out what's happening in this PvP because Classic is so far undefeated. Abyssal Reef will be our next map.
And we'll see what Classic has planned. His plans have been just magnificent so far. Can Stats start to bring it back here?
I don't know. We will see. I don't know. I think that Stats really needs to pull it together because Game 1, the builds and the execution were better by Classic. But Game 2, I mean, that one scouting probe actually just got in there and hit.
That wrecked everything.
Yeah. All right, guys, let's go to Game 3. Tell your friends to join us in tonight's GSL Code S. In the upper left, in the blue, is it going to be gold again?
It's gold all day.
Yeah.
Until we go to the Zerg games.
They get the gold because they're GSL Code S champions, guys. In the bottom right, in the red, he is.
Classic.
It's beautiful.
Yet another GSL Code S
Gold, I tell ya. Gold.
Ooh. You remember that old Rudolph movie?
Oh, so did you say Rudolph?
Yeah, the Rudolph movie.
Oh, thanks for coming down, guys.
The best show in the universe. Live twice in a row. Must be a dream. It is indeed.
Get your punch card out. You come here 5 times in a row and you get a free coffee.
Yep.
Or Hot 6. Sorry, they sponsor our tournament, Hot 6.
Yes. But this is the greatest job on Earth and the greatest show on Earth. Of course, those two things would go together.
Take that, Barnum and Bailey.
That's garbage. What do? You torture lions and elephants?
What, you going to go torture an elephant right around him? I'm not impressed with you.
Bearded lady? I'm like, well, I have one of those. His name is Tasteless.
Oh, well played, sir.
It's like,
I am just your bearded lady.
Yeah. You're my sideshow freak. I've been asking Mr. Che for years to get me a cannon to shoot you out of. But they say that the ceiling isn't high enough.
That is so funny. I didn't see that one coming at all. Well done.
Yeah. Tell Mr. Che, don't worry. He won't hit the ceiling, man. He's going to fly like a wet sock. But,
that was pretty good, Artosis. Well played, sir.
Yeah. So, anyways, the greatest show on Earth.
GSL.
We have the greatest lives, Tasteless.
We do.
And here's the thing. Stats right now, he's like, God, I want to have 2 GSL Code S championships. At this point, it doesn't look like he's going to make it to the finals, man.
Well,
but guess who is? You and me.
Yeah,
because we have the greatest job.
We haven't been eliminated yet, fortunately.
We managed to stay in it throughout.
But in all seriousness, let's keep in mind that Gumiho came back 3-0 in TY after he was down
true.
2 games. So, but I'm like, but these are different people and it's a different matchup. So maybe not. But we'll see. We'll see.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to imagine Classic dying from here because his plans have been so good. Oh, this is the most annoying thing.
Ooh, this is pretty cute.
Losing
He's
this
going to get that probe.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's actually going to get out, too.
Yeah.
That's not going to die. Ooh, look at that hiding spot for the probe.
Ooh.
You can fly right over that and not see it. Or you can go in the bushes. It's fine.
Yeah. Bushes, you could see a little bit more.
I'm like, once it goes in the bushes, I'm like, oh, no, wait a minute. That's actually a better hiding spot.
Yeah. You can actually
What am I
see
talking
out.
about? Sorry, guys.
Well, it was funny because like we couldn't see the probe, so for you being
us
the
as
guy
a spectator,
watching,
yeah, I'm
you're
like,
wow,
well,
that's great.
I could have missed that if I wasn't so
Yeah.
good at this, but no.
But like in the game, if you're standing next to a bush, it's just like stupid in every way. It's like the bush is just superior.
Okay, Stalker's coming down now. Time to finish what I started. Oh, he gets away again.
Pretty sick.
That Adept's got a good story or two.
Well,
The Stalkers might come back. Third time's the charm.
has this offensive pylon, so it looks like he'll try to shade some Adepts, I guess, up in the main base. But Classic like has more units and a faster expansion, and he's getting a robo quicker. And like, yeah, I don't really foresee this doing too much.
Okay, the Adepts actually got in. So what the Adepts are there to do is to pull in the rest of the army, but I think at the front of the base, Classic is just deflecting this. This is not quite working out. Now, he is going to target down a few probes. That's
Hey,
pretty
yeah.
handy early on. Right now, it's about 25 probes
Yeah.
to 28. Well, it's not great, but
This
it's something.
actually-
something.
Yeah, this was not too bad from stats. Like getting 4 probes is not too bad, and then like he used the force fields off of both sentries and an overcharge. The overcharge isn't really going to matter that much, but the 2 force fields really do matter because that means that he's going to not have hallucination scouts for a long time, and hallucination scouts are one of the most important things for early and mid-game PvP. Like you have to see what they're going for. So that actually did quite a bit. But it looks like Classic wants to go attack now. He's getting a Prism. He has 4 sentries and Immortal out there, so that's definitely a strong pushing force.
Classic is saying there's Wonder Woman at the theater at 7:30. I got to end this. That's what he's saying. I got to get out of here, man.
Did you see that? I heard it was actually good.
I am supposed to go see it,
Yeah?
but I haven't seen it yet.
It's
But
pretty rare that you go see a superhero movie.
Yeah, well, you know I'm like vehemently against that. I went to the Batman movies, though. Not Superman versus Batman. Let's get real here.
Oh, that movie was terrible.
Yeah.
It was the worst
You see that,
movie
that
ever.
thing where they were interviewing Ben Affleck and like about the bad reviews, and then like it's like a meme, and like he looks so sad when they're talking about the reviews, and then they play that like "Hello, Darkness, My Old Friend," that song by Kansas. Never mind.
No, I didn't see that.
Artosis has no electricity in his house. Okay, he's like, guy's no idea what I'm talking
live in
about.
a cave.
He was looking at me with the dumbest expression. I'm like, Artosis. There's no computers in Artosis' house, guys. Just a bunch of instruments. He's just moving forward now. We have an attack coming here. Classic trying to close this out. He takes down the 2 pylons. And
Ooh, he lost a hell of a lot
Yeah.
battling those 2 pylons. And, I mean, the force field on the ramp
Well,
was really cool,
I
but
think
will
if he-
this do enough damage?
if he gets the next force field up, I think it can. Although he doesn't have any reinforcements inbound, so he might just end up trying to kill a bunch of workers.
Yeah, he has
In
one-
fact, he needs to get out of here.
He has 1 more force field, so he has a little bit longer, but this is almost done.
All right, if he could just maybe get a few more probes here.
These overcharges for stats were so hero.
Yeah, they really were. Well, that was a big game changer. Also, that force fields in the middle that kind of shoved the army to the side.
Yeah, that was really a very strong
Stats
defense
saying,
out of stats.
You
So
can see Wonder Woman at 9 for all I gotta say. Classic.
no.
So you still don't know that? You don't know that meme? What I'm talking about? Someone tweeted at Artosis.
No,
It's like,
I'm sorry. I actually don't use the internet.
yeah, you just cast on.
Wait, I'm like, is that in a StarCraft VOD? Because I
You're
probably
like Ben Affleck. What's his ID again?
yeah. Is that one of Rogue's IDs? I'm not up to date. I'm sorry.
Okay, guys, this is a game stats can win.
Yeah.
He bounced
Yeah.
that attack off. Uh-oh.
Ooh.
This
You
is-
watch now, everything goes wrong for Classic. It's like, oh my god.
We find out he wished
Wow.
his GSL Code S win on a cursed monkey's paw.
Which one stats are Classic? They both have one.
Be classic.
Wow. It's taken a long time for that to catch up with him.
Yeah, that's right.
If that's how long it takes for the Cursed Monkey Paw to catch up, I would love to wish a GSL
It's got
championship
5
for
fingers.
myself.
That's 5 wishes, Artosis. That's how it works. Unless it's a Simpsons monkey paw, then I guess it only has 4 because I think they only have 3 fingers on their hands.
Well, think about Sue, right? He has 5 finals. He was dumb. He just wished to make it to the finals with this Cursed Monkey's
Oh,
Paw.
yeah, there you go. That's how the monkey's paw works.
He's like, well, I want to win something without a wish, right? So,
Yeah.
like, let me just,
Okay, the attack is coming in now. Classic. doing a good amount of damage over here to these probes, and I'm sorry, stats, excuse me. Does a good amount of damage and then picks up and goes out.
Disruptor's already on the way here for Classic, so a little bit quicker than Stats on that side. And this is looking much more like a very standard PvP. We don't see anything like Charge quite yet. Just some Adept harassment, a good amount of Immortals and Sentries into Blink and Disruptors in a third base. So neither of them should be able to kill each other. When it gets into these types of unit comps, generally what happens is there's some dancing in the middle, a little bit of poking and prodding here and there, and then you add a Stargate. And you might see something like Observer Speed pop out, but you want to get Oracles for tagging, and eventually it normally goes into Carriers. But will that be the case with the new buff to Tempest? There is the possibility we see someone attempt going Tempest.
Yeah, you know, when PvP gets late enough, it's a real possibility, and it's also kind of a weird problem on both sides. You know? With that, you're like, okay, well now we got to play a pretty long, drawn-out game.
Yeah.
Where we actually start to pay attention to like the middle of the map a little bit more, and like these expansions far on the edges. So let's see if we actually get there.
So Classics going into the second Robo, not a big surprise there. Glaives just being gotten here by Stats definitely can be helpful for his harassment. And there's that first Stargate going up. It should just be an Oracle at first, but eventually you're going to want to get into a mothership and then capital ships. But the interesting part, and both of them are getting Stargates, but the interesting part for me is to see if these guys still just want to go Carrier. Carrier obviously has like really good damage output, still a fantastic unit, but the Tempest did get +8 attack against Carriers, so that could be something that's chosen. Back before the Tempest nerf, it was actually Mass Tempest that you go to from this position rather than Carriers.
Okay, Stalkers chasing out the Stalkers for Classic here. Classic, this is the first game where I feel like Classic hasn't just started out with a small win and let that snowball.
Yeah.
It's funny because like Stats is such a solid player.
He is.
But both these guys, especially with PvP, these guys are very good. But I do feel like overall Classic has a little bit of an edge PvP.
Yeah,
that guy is a PvP killer, man.
He has been and continues to do so in this series, even though this game isn't going quite as well. And with both of them having Oracles on the way, it looks like Charge coming up. That's going to be good for harassment. They're both getting fourths. That's like super totally normal. We'll probably see extra cannons added at all the bases because stupid things like 4 DD drops can really ruin your day in this type of situation. Because you're not completely moving as a death ball, but for the most part, right? You'll have harassment groups, but you have to have a big enough army to protect your disruptors, basically.
Well, for the time being, it's kind of in a weird spot here with these two guys moving at roughly the same rate. It's a situation where you kind of can't kill the other guy, at least for a little bit.
Yeah.
So both players are just racing in their tech and in their production. Supplies are basically matched at this point in time. There is a slightly higher worker count here, we should note, for Classic, though.
Okay, so Classic's the first one to add extra Stargates in the Fleet Beacon. Although Stats is already getting his +1 air weapons. Okay, there you go, another Stargate for him, so he'll be going Fleet Beacon shortly. But this has actually been, as far as air toss goes, Classic is the best at transitioning into it. And it shows here as well. Like, this is a very standard game. Like, this looks like a pre-patch game. But he's getting into the Carriers just slightly quicker, or, you know, just the capital ship tech, whatever it's going to be. I imagine it'll still be Carriers. Yeah, okay, so it is Carriers. And, yeah, so this is where you just kind of, we see the little bit of dancing, a lot of tagging going on. And, you know, that's about it, because the defender has the advantage here, especially if you're both tagged. It's like you can't walk towards the disruption balls.
Adjust your skinny jeans, guys. We're going into late game PvP.
Adjust your skinny jeans? What is this?
This is funny. Well, I mean, it's like not like we have like, you know, we're not wearing capes or anything else. Or,
we're not wearing capes.
We don't have like a gun in our holster. You know,
we start at 2:30 a.m. Pacific time. Let me tell you, we have some viewers wearing capes right now. There's not even a question in my mind, Tasteless.
Can you imagine if we wore capes like normally? We we get done with work, we're like, all right, we'll hang up our clothes and wardrobe, and I'm like, all right, there we go. Here's my cape that has a big T on the back of it. I just put it on.
Well, yours would
time
be like
to take the train
superhero
home.
Cape. I would have one of those capes that goes over like one shoulder and one arm. It's like I'm a
vampire.
Yeah, something like that. Oh my god. Okay, so both sides going carriers, but Classic's going more carriers because he is the best at transitioning into this.
More carriers can beat less carriers.
Yeah. Yeah.
General rule, write it down.
It's a huge deal as well, just like...
Put it in a fortune cookie.
Any flying unit in this game, like if you have more, you just wreck. It's a very funny thing because it's like... I guess, like, flying units can kind of just chase each other down pretty well. It's like if I have 12 stalkers, you have 11 stalkers, you can like take positions where you can hold on.
Or
right,
you get like a
more
few
units.
good shots before they can get set up or something. Oh,
but if it's like flying units, like if you have an extra carrier, you're like, I guess the stalkers can screw that up and everything, but generally you'll just win. Just be like, oh, look at that one side.
Oh, sick. Four probes taken out. Now, because there was a slight lead in momentum for Classic, he was able to get the position where he can kind of put his opponent in the clinch. And there's not that much that stats do, especially because they're teching into these really big, sluggish air armies.
Yeah.
You don't have as many opportunities to like try to counter or do anything like that. Now, that being said, it doesn't mean that Stats is going to lose here, but it does put a little bit of an offensive advantage here for Classic.
Yeah, he's doing a really good job. He's going to have to start bleeding off some units as well here, but you have to be a little bit careful as well. You need enough to stop mass stalkers from killing carriers, because like the very first battle you have with carriers, generally the ground army is like kind of sufficient to make a difference. As you get really late game, the ground army matters less and less, but yeah, that's just something you have to kind of take into consideration. Classic moving out now. Looks like 8 carriers against 3, so he should be able to just win here.
It's kind of nice to see carriers in a GSL. Can we just take a moment?
Yeah.
We're getting to cast carriers in a GSL. This is nice.
It's a good unit. It's still a good unit.
Yeah.
And every PvP is not going to look like this right now, I don't think, with the new patch. We've definitely seen a lot more variety so far. But definitely with their openers,
oh my God, look at
this.
If there was ever an Artosis pylon, lights out! it's lights out! Lights out!
Wait, do it again. Ready?
Wait for it. Lights out! Yeah! Ooh. I think the first thing we did was better, but there's probably going to be more pylons still in this game. If we just work on it, Artosis, we can do it just right. Okay.
Look at stats.
Meanwhile, some unimpressive counterattack down here.
Check out the UT3 Adepts Classic.
If you don't have any probes, you can't get resources. Yeah, I just think that Classic should close this out.
Well, he unpowered these Stargates, which is nice. He didn't attack when he had the big advantage, and now the carrier amount is the same.
Yeah. Now, if he can just keep taking out this base. Oh! Look out, Duck!
Whoa!
Too much debris!
You better have a very good space pilot to get through that.
Damn. I am already losing my voice in this cast. I'm actually glad we have about a week off after this. I need to regenerate my vocals. So, yeah, as long as Class can keep poking into this location, he's just going to be ahead in bases. Oh,
Sri calls out of here. Okay, what are the upgrades at right now? Looks like, okay, they have the same air upgrades. The other upgrades don't really matter.
Oh, watch this, guys. Explosions.
Owned.
All right, and he's like, and for good measure, some zealots. We're having a lot of fun in this cast today, guys.
I like how you make it seem as if Classic is like this evil, like
that's
evil guy.
Yeah.
It's like, and for good measure, some zealots. What it really is Classic right now is moving at 300 to 400 APM, and he's just like, there's only an injured cannon here, a couple zealots. You know, this is all taking place in like a millisecond in his brain. He's like, okay, a couple zealots there, let's go. And then he's like somewhere else, but you make it seem like this epic.
That was the most failed drop ever. Oh my God, that was so funny. Oh my God, that was really funny. Did you see that?
Yeah. He landed it outside the match.
And then he activated it. Oh my God, that's really funny.
Well, that shows how fast
he's playing really, really well, too. But that was really funny. That's really funny. If you play this game a lot, that's the funniest thing you've probably ever seen. It happened so fast and got blown up by the carriers, too. Wow. Okay.
Oh my God, I like how he just chased those immortals across the map.
So, Classic is setting up to try to poke it again.
7 Tempests are out right now for stats, so that's going to be how he tries to win this. And by tagging, this is really cool because he has a mixture of units. So if he runs, because against the Tempest, I think you have to just close and attack. Right? So here he goes. He's coming up trying to attack, but no kiting going on the other side. The Immortal's hilariously just walking underneath. Hey, look at this! Look at this battle that doesn't matter underneath. It's Disruptors against Immortals. Just doesn't matter at all. Oh my God! So it turns out that the Tempest did a really good job there, and Classic is now going to die.
Yeah, Stats is doing it.
But I do love this little
fight that didn't matter. Yeah,
it's like this is the undercard.
It's like there's a
fight.
war going on, and tanks are rolling in, and AK-47s are firing. But meanwhile, 2 dogs are fighting over a piece of meat.
Yeah.
You know. So, yeah, I think
it's like
that
the beaches of Normandy, and then it, like the movie like switches over and just shows a cockfight. It's like, okay.
So, I gotta say, good job, Stats. We're gonna be going into game number 4 momentarily. Is there should pretty much be no way now that especially Stats has his position in over here that there's any way for Classic to contest this.
Yeah, he definitely wins from here, I would say. There's still carriers popping out, and he does have a carrier advantage at the moment, but the Tempests are actually putting on some pretty sick damage, doing a good job there. Look at that. Ooh! Smash it.
The problem is that the carriers in the army are getting pushed out to where the main is.
Ooh, this is a good point, though.
Not bad. Disruptors coming in.
3 Disruptor shots at once there, so actually maybe Classic can make something happen.
Well, let's see. The carriers are actually taking a good amount of damage, but I got to say this arc is pretty nice here for Stats. I think, though, when you look at the supplies and how it's plummeting here for Classic, that should be the biggest indicator.
Classic still has a big bank, so he could just continue to warp in some units here. Looks like, okay, there are a few Tempests here, and oh god, those Immortals are actually doing some real work now. They won that non-mattering battle, but it matters now because here they are destroying Stalkers.
As you can see here, yeah, there's just basically no way to recover. 86 supply to 173. Yep. Maybe Stats can actually come back with a 3-0 sweep, after being down 0-2. GG.
I think that there was a window there that Classic did not take advantage of, and it might have been very hard for him to realize that it was there, but he had 8 carriers against 3 right when those Stalkers went to the main base and caused lights out! Lights out! But that was a moment where maybe he could have pushed and forced a bit of a battle, but then Stats caught up in the air and in fact passed him by, getting into some of these Tempests. So kind of a cool move, and happy to see the Tempests actually have an impact here.
Well, Classic knows he's still able to basically pull out solid games all the way through. You just can't let Stats stay alive that long. The Stats definitely had, I think, a deeper and more clean understanding of the super late game. Problem is PvP never has, any matchup doesn't have to go to late game.
Yeah.
Let's see what builds Classic and Stats choose for game number 4.
Yeah, and if it's the same thing again, like Classic got into the carriers cleaner. He did it quicker and had more at one point, but yeah, as we got that late game, it was tougher.
Guys, we're going to a short break. When we come back, game number 4. Stats versus Classic.
봄꽃책에서 듣다. 있는 그대로 맑고 깨끗하게 피어나라고 겨울을 이겨낸 봄꽃이 내게 말했다. 맑고 깨끗한 칠성사이다.
뭐야 이게? 설마 탄? 전국민 슈팅 그라운드 탄! 지금 사전 예약하세요.
냄새가 나. 어두운 곳에 숨은 냄새를 풍기는 바로 너!
바로 너! 원인은 쾌쾌한 에어컨 냄새. 신제품 페브리즈 차량용으로 상쾌하게. 페브리즈 차량용.
오버워치 아이돌 학교를 소개합니다.
서은서, 우리는 오버워치 아이돌 학교의 교육과정을 성실히 임하며
최고의 게임 아이돌로 성장할 것을 다짐합니다.
좋았어. 이제부턴 진지 모드.
신입생 입학 조건 단 하나. e스포츠와 오버워치를 사랑하고 PC방을 좋아하면 돼요.
뭘 넋을 놓고 보고 있나.
매주 목요일 저녁 10시에 방송됩니다. 오버워치 아이돌 학교.
완전한 반짝이 에이스 오브 렌지. 아재분들 라이드션 형님들도 지금 좀 손쉽게 플레이할 수가 있고, 일단은 메인 이벤트 진행 한번 해보겠습니다. 나 지금 반지 재미나게 하고 있다고? 반지 가장 좋은 시스템이 아닌가. 성물 2개 실어 성 뱉었다고? 성물 2개 나왔어 지금? 공격력 3점. 게임이 클래스가 있어서 좀 오래 간다고. 그렇지. 빵! 되게 재밌다. 레벨업 할수록 다양한 할 거리가 있는 반지. 너머티 감사드립니다.
When it's silver. All right.
Welcome back to the GSL. We missed you on that break. I want to let everybody know that I did show Artosis the sad
That
Affleck
was
meme.
so funny. Oh my god, he looks so sad.
I know.
And that
brutal.
other actor that like just wants to be an actor so bad is like talking so much.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
I also showed Artosis this funny thing people do on the internet where they put pictures of cats being silly and then captains blow up.
It's
so he's all
weird.
caught up, guys. He's
up
all
to the
caught
internet.
up.
Modern day.
All right, we're going to go into game number 4 momentarily. Right now, Stats is still down. He lost the first 2 games, but managed to come back here in game 3. He just has to keep that momentum going. Classic, on the other hand, very interested in ending this right here, right now.
Yeah, I would say in all 3 games, by the way, Classic was outplaying Stats for the majority of them. Stats definitely did come back and win that game with those Tempest and Carriers and had the better air army. But Classic like even got into the carriers more cleanly. So just in general, I think that this guy is outplaying Stats tonight and should still be able to take it. But the next map is crazy. It's Proxima. This makes for some weird ass PvPs. Like there's a lot of full walling shenanigans that go on. Like you can do anything here, but like this map screams Phoenix. And if it comes into a Phoenix battle, that's just like, you want to talk about a weird PvP, man. It's just like Nexuses and Phoenixes.
We will see if we actually get there. There's a chance. Classic, a lot of times, very good at getting a big lead early on in the PvP. It may be the same thing here again. We're going to find out Stats. Whatever he thinks is the best PvP he can offer, he's going to have to bring it to us right here, right now, or we are not going to go to game number 5.
He's going to have to bust out something special, Tasteless.
All right, guys, let's
Lights
go.
out!
Lights out! Game number 4 starting up now. Let's do this. Good luck, Stats. You're going to need it because right now, Classic is 1 win away from moving on to the Final 4. In the upper right, in the blue, he is.
Splice. Stats.
He's not in the blue, he's in the gold.
He's in the gold, man.
Literal defending champion, Tasteless.
Let's keep this camera shot up a little bit longer. All right. Bottom left in the red. His opponent.
Classic.
Literal other champion from before
that's true.
Artosis.
Way before. Wasn't his championship against Sue? Pretty damn sure it was.
Yeah, I think you're correct. What was that laugh?
This is the battle of champions that beat Sue. It should, like, if Sue just keeps on getting second places, we're going to have to, like, have 2 levels of championship. Champions that beat someone that wasn't Sue or Marine King, and then champions that beat Sue or Marine King. That has to be a lower tier, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I like
just
that.
like,
I like that. That's good. Okay, so we have the Wallens here at the ramp.
Sorry, it just doesn't count as much.
Just doesn't mean the same thing. Even though it really does. Cybernetic score on the way here for both these guys with the mirror builds. Nobody's going to be able to get in there. 4,
you went
5
to
stars.
a baseball game down the street or something? And then came here? He's talking about baseball there?
You're really good at this, Artes.
Yeah, I'm really good. I know what's going on.
Let me get back in the game. I'm like, aliens? Crystals? I think they power the buildings?
Yeah.
Not sure.
What's that thing? That blue circle thing.
What's going on with that?
Why do they both have that?
So you've got these scouting probes coming out now. Looking around.
Yeah, you got to scout like really heavily out on the map
Check the
because
edges.
there's this really funny build where you just wall in completely, but you sent out 2 probes and one of them goes and makes a DT drop, and it's just like a really fast DT drop that just kills your opponent because you don't want to go Robo here because everyone goes Stargate, so you want to go Twilight or Stargate.
Stats' Nexus is a little bit further along here, but so far basically these builds are kind of the same.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. Moko's going out. They can scout each other with these, of course. Can just recall home. Stalker's on the way as well.
Ooh, that was close. Well, I think you're right, Artosis. We're probably going to have Mass Phoenixes in this game. And this makes for a very weird PvP. It's just this is a map that allows for this kind of play.
And there's some risky things you can do as well. Like, if you go for a Robo and your opponent does not, then suddenly you have, like, 1 less Phoenix or something, and that's a terrible place to be in. Sometimes Korean pros will do things like some Phoenixes than a bunch of Stalkers and try to kill, but, you know, if you have more Phoenixes, you should be able to just win.
So we have the mothership now headed northbound. Gonna sneak in here, take a peek, get some confirmation of what's going on. And we do have 2 more gates being made here for stats, where there's a Robo being made here for Classic.
Oh, God, that is such a good scout. That is such a solid scout there to see that it's Phoenixes being made and plus 2 gates. So now as Classic, where do you want to go with this? You know, you can just continually make Phoenixes, maybe even add a second Stargate. You're definitely going to need some units because 3 Gateway Stalker will run you over. You know, if you can just like kind of utilize this information, you can gain a huge advantage off of it.
Classic, just so good in this matchup.
Yeah, look at that. He's adding two gases, so this is screaming just lots of Phoenixes.
Yep, getting the Fleet Beacon here as well.
Yeah, maybe just rushing into Phoenix range because then you don't even need that many Phoenixes.
Yeah, well then it's like even if as long as the 2 Phoenixes see each other, then you start to win the fight.
Yeah.
So I feel like so far so good. I mean, Classic basically snuck in, found out the answer, and is now playing through with that.
Yeah.
So
whereas stats, look at this. He's adding a Robo, so he's got like 3 gates, a Robo. There isn't a real plan here. He's playing like a safe build, like he's playing on ladder, and he expects to be better than his opponent. But instead, Classic is just like hard countering what he scouted. So that's definitely an advantage right now goes to Classic.
So the Phoenix is just continuing to pile up for the time being. You kind of got to wait for the right moment at the right time to actually start to unleash those Phoenixes on them.
Yeah.
And of course, you know, there's a chance if Stats does, or rather Classic in this case, since we're kind of leaning more towards him here, if he does something foolish and ends up losing a chunk of those Phoenixes, then he will lose this game. But right now, just the way this game's sizing up, we're definitely preferring Classic over here. Oh my God. Okay, didn't get away.
Yeah, it was a pretty good scout, though. It gives him even more intel, especially seeing the Robo there. Just kind of knows that everything is fine. There shouldn't be anything like DTs on the way. You saw enough gas there. Then he knows there was no real shot at that. So continues his Phoenix production at the moment. That Phoenix range is going to be done, and then he can really start to dominate. But Stats is getting ready to transition out of this. Twilight on the way as well as the third base.
Yeah, Stats is actually going to try to take this game into a kind of more normal PvP, possibly. Oh, he spots that Observer. That's pretty big. Takes out Stats' Observer. Stats didn't get that much intel, although he does see the number of Phoenixes, and that's kind of the backbone of what Stats, or rather Classic, is going for here. So, good scout in that sense, but yeah, that is unfortunate he loses that Observer.
Now, moving his way across the map, he's going to be able to win the Phoenix battle for sure, but with the Stalkers here, you might be able to save some of your Phoenixes.
Yeah, and that's really tricky. You can see how abusive that range is. It's crazy.
It's a super big deal. Look at that damage already put on them.
Now, even though he couldn't engage those Phoenixes back there, there's still the opportunity for these Phoenixes that Classic has to try to come in here and pick fights, maybe take out some workers.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Phoenix a much more quick and nimble unit than the Stalker is here. So yeah, he's already beginning to abuse that. Look, he can take this, and he can basically go unpunished as long as he doesn't overextend and lose those Phoenixes. And look, he's like, all right, I'll just go over here. Let's see what you got.
Yeah, he's just going to have to utilize overcharges basically to get him out of here. Going to be able to eliminate a lot of Phoenixes now.
Great play. And he's going to get almost every single Phoenix.
Dude, I like Classic's position so much.
Yeah.
Like, he's just hard countering Blink Stalkers now. And so you're going to have all these Blink Stalkers, but what are you going to be able to do with them? Like, do you go into Psystorm to try to deal with this? If you do, then all Classic needs to do is realize this and go into Disruptor. And other than that, like, he's always countering the units of Stats. He is Rock, and Stats is
Scissors.
Well, Scissors. Really, Rock should counter Paper. To be honest, like, you throw Rock through Paper, it's just like that's it. Well, you wrap up Rock, and it's stupid. Rock is the strongest one.
It should be Pond. Drop the Rock in the pond.
Ooh,
that's
yeah.
how the rock
Water
goes
destroys
down.
rocks over time,
or at least it sinks in the water.
Turns it into sand and stuff too.
Ooh. Yeah, we should call those people that made that game. Maybe they'll patch Rock, Paper, Scissors, Pond.
It needs to be Pond.
That's gonna be the sequel.
Rock, Scissors, Pond.
And they're like,
you have to use two hands to make Pond because it's so big.
People are like, well, how do you counter Pond? I'm like, well, then you throw a ShamWow in there, and then it's done.
ShamWow. I was going to say, you cut it with the scissors, done. Makes about as much sense as the paper killing Rock.
He's like, well, it wraps up the Rock. I'm like, I don't think the Rock minds. The Rock's like, good, I got clothes on.
Got a little
I was naked
Rock
before.
jacket.
Oh, wow. Ow, my sides hurt, man.
Could I have clothes on?
Now I have
I didn't
armor.
like being naked.
Now it's armor.
Yeah.
So,
oh my God.
We got a lot of Void Rays being made right now.
It's like Rock, Scissors, Pond, Pollution or something.
Yeah.
It's like, how do you destroy a pond? Cattle farm, that's it. Cattle farm
That's
drinks
right,
all
yeah.
the water, right?
Big corporations.
Yeah. But what beats the cattle farm? I guess the Rock could. Kill the cattle with the Rock.
Kill the farmer.
Yeah.
We took a dark turn down here. We have the mothership now coming into play. It has just been scouted there. But again, it's Classic getting that key tech up. And we'll see if he decides to push out. I really am impressed. I actually thought the series overall should have been a little bit more back and forth. And I know that obviously Stats did win game number 3, and good on him for that. But I feel like overall, if you just watch the movement, how they're scouting, the little tricks that the players are using, Classic is way better at all of it. Even the Phoenix movement.
Yeah, completely agree with you. Like, he's come in here really, really prepared. And the thing is, Stats is playing fantastically and will beat most Protosses. But the way in which he's playing is as if he's playing against someone worse than him. And that's not the case. Classic is a GSL champion as well. Like, Classic's in fantastic shape.
Okay. We have, you can see Stats with no real easy way to go against that way more sophisticated, terrifying army.
Yeah, that army just wrecks this army.
That's like what you see in the StarCraft 2 cutscenes, okay?
Yeah.
Where you look at an army like that, you're like, that's never like normally what the game looks like. But this time, right now, Sam Wise is drafting this army up, okay, in the next trailer for the game.
Oh, my God.
Okay, he's going to take out that
I'm
one.
going to do some adept harassment.
Yeah.
Classic destroys it in a matter of seconds. Thank you for freeing up that supply so I could start my carriers. The Tempest's actually on the way for Stats. Okay, this is the type of situation I was looking forward to. One player going carriers and the other going Tempest. To see how that's really going to end up working out. Like, The Tempests obviously are going to do very well against these air units for now. And he's got like the rest of Stats' army is basically the ground anti-air. He's got like, obviously Guardian shields, then he's got Archons and Stalkers. So those are going to be pretty good at covering for the Tempest in this type of situation, I think. And we don't have Disruptors out. So Disruptors are kind of the great destroyer of this army that we have for Classic. Well, this army we have actually counters the carriers reasonably well if there's not Disruptors.
I guess in some senses this was not going to be a game where we'd end up seeing Disruptors just because of how it started with the Phoenixes. But usually the Disruptor is like the unit that can actually equalize a fight. Whoa, do not do that. He's backing up now.
Yeah, very, very true. A lot of Tempests on the way. Charge coming up for Stats right now. He does have that 4th base up in mind. He's taking a 5th as well. Really great scouting pylons around the map. Stats is doing a lot of things very well this game.
You gotta wonder if the Phoenix count might come in pretty handy if he can just gun down the Observer.
Yeah, if he goes down the Observer, it's pretty huge. But there's an Oracle on the way for Stats. I think he realizes that could occur.
Actually, that's a good point. I hadn't caught that. Yeah, there is an Oracle on the way. But, this battle looks like it's going to start right now. If he gets that Observer.
Okay, I think he has 2 more. I think they're both with his army. He's got that cannon.
He's got that cannon.
Oh, not anymore.
Lights out. So he's going to come in here, and this is a buffet of buildings that you can wipe out. I mean, he's just going to go down.
You can eat.
He's turning to the carrier. He's like, road trip. We're going down here now.
That's going to be
We're doing a whole tour of the map, guys.
Okay, so Stats.
You know how we're on the left side of the map? Well, we're going to travel. We're going to see and then they get over there. It's like, it looks just like where we came from.
This is making it so Stats just has to go win. Like, I think Stats has to bust out with his Tempest now, kill this entire air army, then walk across the map and at least kill the 3rd base of Classic. That seems to be his chance.
Uh-oh. Don't lose that. Do not lose that.
Okay, he gets the tag off.
You can lose it now. You're right.
I'd love to see Classic just go home.
Well, I think there's no reason for him to try to end the game here. Like, he's basically bleeding him out of resources.
Exactly. He's got that extra base, and it's really important. And, like, Stats actually has the bottom right, and I don't think he knows about that, so I guess that could come
all
into
these
play.
probes.
Oh, man.
Please, we'll mine for you. It doesn't work that way. We're robots. Just reprogram us. You don't have the right Windows update.
Imagine if you could steal your opponent's probes. That would be so crazy.
Yeah.
Protoss needs mind control in this game.
That'd be fun.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind having that. Why does Zerg get mind control? That's not like...
Protoss had mind control in StarCraft 1. What's going on there?
And it was permanent.
They probably made it illegal. They were like, this is too powerful. People are manipulating each other on ire. Nobody should have this. The mind control and time travel, they had to ban it.
Well, that's what we found out, actually, about Tassadar. He was just under control of some random Red Archon.
Okay.
You think he was going to kill himself to kill the Overmind? No, man. That Red Archon, though, he wanted to save his own ass.
Cracks me if you call it a Red Archon, not a Dark Archon, which is like what it actually is. As someone who played Protoss in StarCraft 1, I remember when hold on, never mind. We actually have the big battle here. We have the attack now happening over here. This is basically going to be the killing blow. There's virtually no way that Stats can win this fight, but you can't blame him for trying. He's the former champion.
Now, his Tempest, if he can kill all the air units with these Tempests, then it's just not enough.
Yeah, no, it's unfortunately the Stalkers are too good. He recalls back home, but, I mean, he can't really come back from here. The bottom right base is naked. He can come down and just wipe this expansion out, and then it's Classic with, an economy. Oh, hold on. He actually recalled down there.
Yeah, he has 4 carriers now, and there's not that much anti-air. If he can...
I think he just needs to get the Nexus, though. That's the whole point.
Yeah, the Nexus is going to fall. Because don't forget, there's these units that don't shoot up in here, and those are going to really clean it up.
Yeah. Okay, kind of a sad ending here. I'm glad we got to have Tech this late here into this PvP. But yeah, that's going to be it. GG. Classic moves on to the Final Four, and you can see how happy he is.
Yeah, it's been a while since this guy won his championship. Definitely could be the one to do it this time as well. We already know that his PDT is probably the strongest that there is, coming out of that 3 Terran group, that group of death in the last round. Now he's defeated Stats, last Protoss in the tournament. All that stands before him is a Zerg player.
Wow, I feel bad for Stats. It was not that much of a close. Oh, he's over here talking to Sue.
They're laughing. They're like, look at that XKT scrub.
Nicely done. We are going to go to an interview now with Classic. Gary's going to ask him how he's feeling. He's made it to the Final Four. He very well could win this season.
He really could. It's crazy to see him come back like this as well. To have another shot at the championship. And of course he has that seed into next season. Top 4 all get seeded, don't have to go through the qualifiers, which can be a very rough experience. We don't get too many upsets each season, but a few.
프로토스 그 자체 김도우 선수가 3년 만에 4강 진출 또 결승을 눈앞에 두고 있습니다. 자, 만나보겠습니다. 축하드립니다.
Classic advances to the semifinals. Congratulations. Thank you.
와, 정말 오랜만에 갑니다. 먼저 소감 어떠세요?
네, 우선 오늘
I wonder how you feel. What are you
상황에
thinking?
가고 싶어가지고 준비를 엄청 열심히 했거든요.
I really wanted
네.
tonight to,
그래서 이렇게
to
열심히
go well. I
했는데
practiced so hard, honestly.
아까 뭐 대열비가 앞에 뭐 멘탈이 약하다 했잖아요.
네.
근데 좀 멘탈이
If I
약해질
lost
뻔했는데 그래도 이렇게 이겨가지고 지금 너무 기뻐요 지금.
네, 오늘
Stat said
경기에서
my mentality was weak.
보여주신 그
I think he was
준비성.
right.
참
I definitely would have
완벽한
affected me a lot. So
플레이에서
I'm really pleased with
얼마나
myself.
4강 결승에 가고 싶어 하시는지 간절하게 준비를 하셨는지 잘 느껴졌거든요.
네.
어떻게 준비를 하셨어요?
I could almost feel the desperation in that series. How did you prepare exactly?
1번에 떨어졌는데 이번에는 진짜
Well, season 1 I was eliminated pretty early, right? So,
생각으로
네.
32강 때부터 거의
so in season 2,
결승급으로 계속 준비를 했어요. 되게 열심히.
네.
I tried to develop this mindset that I had to become a champion no matter what. So every match I was going into, I treated as incredibly important.
갈수 있었던 것 같습니다.
네, 정말 매
I think putting that
경기마다 그
kind of
준비성
mindset and that
잘
effort
보고
into that
있습니다.
allowed me to
확실히
succeed.
김도우 선수 3년 만에 이렇게 가는 건 너무 오래 걸린 것 같아요. 사실 성적은 좋았는데 GSL 성적에선
Took about 3 years
그
to get to the
사이에
semifinals.
우승자 이야기도 들어보고
for you.
참 속상한 적도 있었을 것 같은데 어떠셨어요?
네, 우선 이제
There must have been
제가
hard times
2015년
between those 3 years.
끝으로
2014년에
Yes.
GSL
네.
네. 아무튼 한동안 이제
2014
거의 못 가서
네.
되게
Was when I became a
약간
champion. It
나이를
had been a
들면서
while
진짜
since I had gotten that far. I'm getting
안
older
되는
too.
건가, 이제 뭐 그만해야 되나
At
약간
times I
생각도
felt like
가지고
giving up.
있었는데
I thought maybe I should retire.
제가 맨날 시즌 1을 그렇게 아쉽게 떨어지면 시즌 2에 되게 도끼를 품고 열심히
But every
해서
season,
이렇게
after that, I kept getting eliminated. I think earlier than I thought.
이렇게 한번
So,
기회 왔을
I just
때
kept
정말
grinding.
기회 잘 살릴 수 있도록 4강전도 잘 준비.
I feel like I was overall just much more prepared for this. I'm so
네,
grateful to have an opportunity to make it to the finals. I'm going to work really hard to try to get there.
분위기가 좋은 것 같아요. 결승을 생각하시는 팬분들도 많을 것 같은데.
So it seems like you're in just a great mood now.
어인수 선수와 이병렬 선수가 대기하고 있거든요.
네.
You're going to be meeting either Sue or Ro. Who do you want to face off against?
뭐둘 다 잘하지만 뭐
I wanna beat
결승전에
Ro.
어윤수가 워낙 세가지고
Both are great Zergs.
윤수는 사실 결승전에 만나고 싶었는데
네.
4강에서 만나는
But the problem
대진이더라고요.
with Sue is that he's strong as long as he's not in the finals.
좀 힘들 것 같아서.
So if it was a finals, I'd say Sue, but in this case, I would prefer to play off against Ro.
유수가 졌으면 좋겠다. 자, 참 멋진 경기력으로 이렇게 4강에 올라가게 됐습니다. 저도 너무 감격하게 돼서 오늘 경기 내용을 하나도 얘기를 안 했어요. 준비를 많이 해오셨는데 아쉬우실 것 같으니까 가장 마음에 드는 거 하나 꼽아볼까요? 1세트도 좀 참신했던 것 같네요. 생더블로 시작하신 거.
Let's talk about the most memorable match
마지막
tonight.
경기도 제가 이제 캐리어를 가는 척하면서
네.
2개만 뽑고 지상군으로 러쉬를 갔는데
So on the last map,
그게 좀 잘 먹혀가지고 네, 잘 됐던 것 같아요.
네,
I tried to make it look like I was going for the carriers, but then I didn't.
지켜봤었는데 그 경기가 가장 기억에
And I think my
남는다.
mind games paid off.
네, 잘 봤습니다. 자, 이렇게 해서 다시 한번 결승을 노리고 있는 김도우 선수인데요. 응원해주시는 팬분들에게 한마디 부탁드립니다.
네,
A lot of
되게
fans are supporting you. Do you have
오랜만에
anything you want to say to them?
왔는데 이번 뭐 저그전이 좀 힘들 것 같긴 하지만 준비.
No, it's been a long time
지금부터
since I've made it this far in a
또
GSL.
오랜만에 한번 결승 한번 갈
I
수
know I'm going to be
있도록
having a tough
하겠습니다.
match no matter what.
네, 알겠습니다. 다시 한번
But I'm gonna do my
4강 진출
best.
축하드립니다.
네, 감사합니다.
Thank you and congratulations. And that
네,
does it.
이렇게
He also said go
프로토스
get the
그
taste
자체
Joseph's voice back.
찬사를 받았던
That's
김도우 선수와
He
이야기
said that,
나눠봤는데요.
He said that for sure, 100%.
GSL 이벤트
Well, that does it for our first best of 5, but we still have one more. There's one more spot.
That's
in the
right.
round, the top 4.
Dude, and it's like the 2 highest ranked Zergs right now in the world as far as the ladder goes, and they're both really good at ZVZ. Can Sue make another finals? That's like a crazy thing to think 2 in a row.
Yes, he can.
He did 4 in a row once. If he does 2 in a row, like anyone doing 2 in a row right now is madness. But like,
well, wouldn't be the first time he's done that. I think it's going to be tough for Rogue. We'll see if he can manage to recover. We got a little bit more time to stay on air.
well,
So, that's right. We got to bring this thing up. Right there. That's Dan, and that's me. And you should try it out.
I just love
you can
your
hear
face
us
there.
Look at me. I'm like, you. So now we're ready to wrap it up. I always forget that we have that graphic at the end. Guys, in a little bit, a ZVZ. Stay tuned here at the GSL Code S.